Hello, this is Team Scubout here with my friend Toles. Look through the new list to come out no early in September for the next one.
Hey, are you talking, Sebastian?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can just barely hear you.
Oh, let's see. Hello, hello.
Yeah. That's a lot better.
Okay, let's go. Scroll down the list. Be the video started.
Okay, so first things first, the two Blackwing cards are still on the list. The Strudo's still banned. Eclipse Wyvern is still banned, which is surprising. I would
Yeah,
have thought with the new Chaos support they would have done something. Uh, not seeing anything really new.
not really.
Uh, so the looks like the Dragon Rulers are all still there. No, Tempest is still free. The three fusions are the same. Northern Electromite Goblin.
Yeah, all the
Looks like
links are the
the
same.
Bardiche. I don't know if you saw already, but there was new Phantom Knight support announced earlier today,
Yeah, I saw that.
which is so maybe next list Bardiche might come back. Maybe we'll
I hope not. That
see.
card's cancer.
Bardiche isn't that bad. It's the rank up Azathot that was just a huge pain. Well, and the free. Okay, actually, yeah. The Bardiche is just a bit. Four synchros are the same. That's understandable. Chain, Invoker, four number cards as I thought. Mirage Stelio is still banned, which I think is a bit mean. Ptolemy, Sin Mighty, that's fair. Broad Bull is banned, that's alright.
Yeah, see, Bill Vision there, Buffy Dagger.
See, Brilliant and Feather
Heartless
Duster.
Warbrand is still banned. It
Still,
seems.
yeah, I'm not seeing any changes to
No
the
Harmon
banned
Fair does
cards.
it, sadly.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any change to any of the banned cards, so
Yeah, the traps are all the same. So nothing got banned. Kind of makes sense. No events. I guess. Uh,
yeah.
the limited list. Like
See,
Exodius.
Exodia still at one, yeah. Armageddon Knight, Collapse Serpent, those are both understandable. Sir Stein. Three Dangers still. Dark Griffer, Pankratops is still at one. Infernity Archfiend is still at one. Darkness Metal still at one. Lithozygium still at one. Rapier still at one. Unicorn is no longer limited.
Oh yeah, that card didn't move. It seems it's not there.
And I thought there was another fusion card that was limited too. I might be mistaken about that.
I don't see multi figure was limited, right?
Oh, it was. I'm not gonna lie. I actually got a sneak peek at the ban list, and that's the only card I saw that moved was Multi-Faker.
And then there's Unicorn.
Yeah, I'm really glad Multi-Faker's back. Unicorn was one of those cards we were just talking about yesterday.
Yeah,
We're not
because
really.
Nick, because how the OCG have it three, now it has it
Oh,
third.
you're not gonna believe it when we see the fusion cards. I pulled up the old ban list. You're not gonna believe who's back. Well, we'll get to that a little later.
What's back?
Let's
Uh,
see. Let's go to the synchros. DeLorean, fine. Ignister, Omega, TG Hyper. No changes to any. No new limited synchros. Beatrice, Emerald, Toad. Those are all fine. Let's see. Card.
oh, I think I know what card it is now. It's
Let's see.
Brandon's
Is there?
favorite card.
Yeah. In the spells, do you see anything new?
Doesn't seem like it.
Panthesium is still at one. That's unfortunate.
Man, yeah, are still at one. Let's see. The,
Traps. There's.
they're still the same.
Oh, so I was just thinking that the remarks that there was just none on this website. No, all the remarks are there. It's just nothing's changed. No new limited semis or banned cards. Only 3 cards came off the list, and that's it.
Yeah, multi-figure, Necros, and then
Mm,
Conhawk. OT Conhawk. So Virtual
yeah.
Beast is back to have the fusion at 3.
Well, that's. I mean, that's honestly really good. They're
Um, this all makes
honestly
sense.
probably.
There
They're
were no
on.
Yu-Gi-Oh events, and like,
Yeah.
oh, and just give them a small list of like 3 cards off the ban list, a limited
And
list, and that's all, folks. Basically.
multi-figure to 3 is really nice. I might actually. I mean, I have the entire deck. I may as well play it. I need to pick up like 3 of the ritual or the Link main deck monster and then a Link cross. But other than that, like I have everything. Necros, Necros, I don't particularly care about. But Ulti Conhawk to 3 is just fine because it's just a rogue deck that got a new card.
Yeah, and then Necros is, you sell that one set, then next main set.
You know, this set, I think this ban list was fine for what happened with since
Uh,
no events happened. I'm glad nothing got hit, but the fact that they're bringing stuff back, even though nothing happened, nothing really needed to happen.
yeah, right. There were no events. People wanted a list, and they gave us the list of 3 cards.
I would, but I'm not gonna claim to know like too much else about all the other cards, but it's fun to give these kinds of decks their cards back.
Yeah,
It's better to give it to them now than to wait until the next ban list, which is what no sooner than September,
yeah,
and try to give it to them then.
yeah. A lot more stuff will get hit in September
Yeah.
if the if everything gets better.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing. I'm not gonna go into the COVID-19 and how it affected the game, but just saying for what this list was and when it comes out, I think that it's really. I'm not gonna say it's good. Nothing about it's good. All that happened was 3 borderline irrelevant cards came back,
Yeah,
but you know, for us not having any events, giving older decks, not even older decks, like giving decks that people kind of want to play their support back is really just a fair thing for Konami to do. Because, I mean, honestly, if you think about these 3 decks in context, there was no point for these cards to be banned or to be limited. So, I mean, like, Unicorn and Ulticonahawk belong to 2 decks that, as we discussed yesterday, the decks aren't really meta relevant. It's all rogue players who be playing it, and
yeah, that
I
all
mean,
makes sense. Most of these decks are
multi-fakers,
wrong.
multi-fakers like a good enough card. It's not one that I think needs to be limited.
Yeah,
It's
it's funny
just
how like people say like, oh, limit to one still make the deck playable. Now you have like 2 or 3. Now
it's.
people
I
can
mean, as
and
someone
people
who's
can
played
break.
Altergeist, pre-link cross and all that, I can tell you that the thing with multi-faker was just that having only one killed your longevity. You always want to starting on your opponent's turn 2. Ideally, you go first.
Yeah,
You want to be able to have your multi-faker and be able to just go and what's it called? You want to have your multi-faker and every turn be able to bounce with Silkitas, negate an attack with Conquery, send a card with Malyaseek. You just want those free advantages that Altergeist give. As I've said it before, the Altergeist cards, other than Multi-Faker, individually are all very mediocre.
yeah. Well,
They
I
give
can't
you
wait
like
for people to brick with multi figures. Just have three in hand and no traps. Like, oh, I just brick.
I mean, that happens so rarely. You're playing like 20 traps in your deck. But I'm glad we got it back. I'm not gonna lie, just because I have all of the cards, I am probably gonna put the deck back together at some point.
Yeah, I can't wait to might play it. I borrow it and play it too. With
But
the
yeah,
box
nothing.
champions reprint.
Yeah, but again, nothing really. No big changes this ban list. Nothing.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
will take
no.
effect on the 15th, it seems.
No big. There were no big changes to the ban list, but it's for the people that want to play these decks, because I know there are real Altergeist fans, and there are people who will still play Ritual Beast, and people who still like Necros. Because all these decks, you know, Ritual Beast is the worst of the three, but all three of these decks were kind of slower, grindier kind of decks. And they're for people who actually enjoy playing the game with the interaction between the two players and exchange of resources and whatnot. And I think it's fine for these three decks to be getting their support back. I think it's in no way bad for the game. It's just for normally, if it was a normal year full of events and
Yeah, we might have block
stats coming
dragon
up and
ban
whatnot,
and stuff like that.
if we had gotten this ban list at a normal year, I would have been upset. But as I've said numerous times, it's fine to have something like this when we're pretty much just playing a hypothetical game at this point. We're like there's no real Yu-Gi-Oh going on right now.
Yeah, only online that Konami does this one series. So we just have like locals and then like remote duels and like duel links and like a game that like out of date anyways. Now it's
It's
just like, oh, we want balance, but everything
well,
we got is makes sense because no YCS, no regionals have been uh, done anything. We have that one remote duel for the YouTubers in the UK and still not
well,
big
like,
enough to hit stuff.
the big thing is that like if you put the you know huge amount of money, honestly, for your Outlook deck or your Adamantia deck
And we play
IRL.
no events and you just
Yeah,
gets hit
no
like,
events
oh,
have happened.
money wasted.
Like this is honestly the perfect middle ground for the people who wanted a ban list, but for people who didn't want decks that have literally never been played to be hit.
Yeah, I know that sounds like a lot of crazy banless stuff when it come back and stuff, and then block dragon to get banned, and block dragon still alive.
I mean,
Next list it
like
might get hit when events are starting up again.
the thing is just that even if Adamantipator or Outlick are as bad as people say, there's no real. We don't have an outlet to really see how disruptive these cards are because, you know,
Yeah, there are people like homebrew like better decks and stuff, and we won't see those on the online play, so we won't like see Quasar dot deck or whatever other like decks that people working on made like
like,
better dragon links and stuff. We don't know that till like when events come up because people rather choose to do it in real life than like play on these platforms and stuff too.
I said this, like, honestly, it's a borderline irrelevant ban list because it is just keeping the game the same. It's just keeping those people who they play rogue decks for fun. It helps them be able to keep their decks, make them a little better, get your other Conhawks, other Unicorns. And I could be completely wrong. Next month or whenever we have a next regional or YCS, if the people are topping with if there's like 4 or 5 Necros or like 2 or 3 Alter Guys tops, And I'll admit that I would be wrong, but as it stands, I think this is just a way for Konami to kind of give back to the player base.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Any thoughts left to end the video?
I think just predictive. I think that with not with Eclipse Wyvern, Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, and White Dragon Wyrmbuster, the fact that they didn't change this list, I think it means that they're probably not gonna change next list either. I think Red Eyes Darkness Metal will because it's getting the errata and Toon Chaos, but
Yeah.
I just I think that the next ban list is going to be really really big because we'll be having I was assuming events come back because we'd have the events to look at along with the all this imaginary events where we're having lots of results for other things. And I don't know what exactly is going to get hit because I haven't seen any events, and obviously we have the Toon Chaos coming out, and beyond that we'll have the Battles of Legend Armageddon. So we will have new product coming out that could potentially affect the game, but
Yeah. Or
I
like
do
reprints to make it cheaper.
I do believe that the next ban list is going to be
A big one.
yeah fairly sized, but other than that, I don't. As far as this ban list goes, I think it's relatively perfect. They could have brought Panthesium of the Monarchs back. That's just my personal prejudice, Uh, maybe they could have brought Emerald back, but other than that, I don't have anything else to say. Everything's everything else is fine without shaking up the game too much.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Like, stripe, and see you next time. Bye for now.